Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Samuel Lager here representing TeamJVS, here to give you guys a review for the film called Werewolves. This is directed by Stephen Miller. This is starring the amazing Frank Grillo, Lou Diamond Phillips, James Kiosin from Heroes, and a slew of other amazing actors and actresses, including Katrina Law. The film was so interesting because the way that the film starts off, and I'll paint this picture for you guys, is that a year ago, for whatever reason, the supermoon, when the moon comes out and it's at its highest peak, right? When it happened, 1 billion different people just started turning into lycanthrope werewolves, and they didn't know. They didn't know how it happened, why it happened. But a year later, there's a team, including Frank Grillo's character Wesley and a group of other scientists, to try to see how they can prevent this from happening, to prevent it from being like a long-term problem, much like a pandemic situation, except this is way more dangerous. And, you know, Frank Grillo's character, Wesley has a sister-in-law and a niece, and he really loves them, but he doesn't know how he can be able to protect them because they've already lost someone in their life, which is his brother. And the crux of this is it starts off with him trying to board up the area, preparing them for, you know, an impending possible attack, while also him taking on the responsibility of trying to see if he can solve and fix and cure this situation. Now, what did I think about the film as a whole? I'll talk about the positive first. Frank Grillo, charisma up to freaking here. Him and Katrina Law and their action scenes, dope. I enjoyed their action scenes. It's insane. I think that the practical side of the werewolves is what I love. Like, I actually love practical effects to kind of showcase like the true werewolf or creature. It just feels more visceral. Now, whether or not it was functional, that's a whole other question. We'll get that to negatives and positives. But I do think that they used a tad bit of CG for the transformation, but it wasn't over exhausting. It wasn't too much. It wasn't too much CG. It was just enough to make sure that this can work. Now, there's some crazy action scenes. Like, I mean, you got, man, Frank Grillo on a gosh darn turret. You got them going and fighting lichens that, you know, had just turned from being humans, and they're smart and they're calculative. And at any given moment, they could just snatch you up into the air and the trees, and there's nothing you can do about it. I love that feeling of impending danger that you just don't know where it's going to go. Even though I think that the continuous level of feeling of danger is also very predictable. You don't know where it's going to happen, but you kind of do at the same time. Now, as far as negatives are concerned, I do think this is really cheesy at times. It's just kind of like, it's a play it by the numbers. Like, you know, you got that horror movie, the person's going to make a stupid decision. It happens. And I think even more so than that, it happens in the most unrealistic ways based on how people react to like crazy things that happen in regular life, let alone like if you know everyone could be possibly exposed. But I think that might be the interesting crux of it, because there's a lot of people that didn't believe the pandemic actually happened. A lot of people didn't believe that COVID actually existed. So there is going to be those crazy people that, you know, don't adhere to true science and true understanding of what you should do in a circumstance like this. I did think that the chemistry that Frank Grillo, again, Karina had was really good, but I think that the chemistry between Afra Nesh, who plays the role of Lucy, that is the sister-in-law, and the little girl that plays the daughter, I think that their chemistry is so magical. It felt so personal and real. I think that was played by Kamdian Gary. She plays the role of Emma. She does a really good job as a young actress, but I think that Ilfanesh, especially her action scenes, she commanded some scenes. She did a really good job with that. The unfortunate part about that is that it comes off very cheesy at times. Sometimes it's just over the top. Sometimes it feels like the scene just kind of goes absolutely nowhere. There are certain characters also in this that really are just not memorable. Like you hear one moment, like, I mean, heck, you got Lou Diamond Phillips, but he's not in the movie enough for me to kind of be like, oh wow, that was a memorable moment. And then I think also there's certain deaths in the way that they kind of handle those. That's just so quick, you don't even really feel anything, whether or not you felt anything for the characters at all. But the deaths on the positive side are gruesome, are crazy. I do think that sometimes when they handle the mouth, it comes off like a rubber suit when it's kind of biting down, and that just throws you off. Even though I appreciate the practical effects of all of it, I do think that this is definitely something that's very entertaining. I think it was shot really well. The way that this was shot and the color grading and even like the intensity of the sound design was freaking. I don't know how this happened, but it was shot and executed really well. This felt like this would be something that'd be dope as a series as well. And I don't think keeping it down to just one movie, I think it was, I don't know, it did a disservice to what I think it could actually be. But nonetheless, would I refer somebody to go and check it out? I think if you're a fan of the horror genre and you see like Underworld or different other lycanthrope stories, heck, even the Vampire Diaries had lycans in it. I think that this is definitely something that's worth watching, maybe with some popcorn, with some friends, just to kind of see where they're going to go with it. But I'd rest this at a C to C+. It wasn't, unfortunately, my cup of tea in terms of like how they handled very predictable things or making it cookie cutter or like that whole horror trope. But I do think it's definitely something that was really entertaining. And I think that Frank Grillo, yet again, like, proves he's one of the best in the business. But we'll talk to you guys later. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace, people.